Today there's been a third attack on one of our embassies in as many days. This one in Yemen. An attack on an embassy typically means it's an act of war, because that is sovereign U.S. territory inside those walls. So why isn't the White House considering retaliation for what happened in Egypt and Libya and now Yemen?
This was an attack by a small and savage group, not the people or government of Libya. Everywhere Chris and his team went in Libya, in a country scarred by war and tyranny, they were hailed as friends and partners. And when the attack came yesterday, Libyans stood and fought to defend our post.
So can acts of war only be committed by foreign governments? And what if foreign people are actually motivated to attack our embassy? Now what? Here to weigh in, Judge Andrew Napolitano, Fox News senior judicial analyst. All right, Judge, so technically it's not the government that has risen up against the United States there, but it's some actors within perhaps the government.
Well, if what Secretary Clinton said is correct, and she has a political interest in saying what she said, because she encouraged the president to bomb Libya, to rid the country of the dictator Gaddafi.
And point to the ambassador.
Point of the ambassador, and to permit the people to come in who now run the government of Libya, such as it is. They are not pro-Western. They are not pro-American. And it is in her best interest to say this is not the government because she's unhappy with what happened. If she's right, then as horrific as this is, under the law, it's not an act of war. That doesn't mean we can't defend our property. It doesn't mean we can't pursue the people who did it. But it does mean it would be unlikely that the United States government would use the military to attack military targets in Libya in order to retaliate for or prevent a reoccurrence of this event.
But now we're sending Navy ships in.
Right.
So what are the orders? What are the orders to the Navy?
I don't know, but what has been stated is, and this is unusual, the Navy ships have been sent there to help evacuate Americans or others who want to leave. Now, those same Navy ships or other Navy ships were there when we were bombing Libya, in part to facilitate the bombing, in part to receive Americans who were there who wanted to escape.
I imagine we're going to drop people on the ground like we supposedly didn't do during the invasion where we weren't on the ground.
It's a great question, Brian, because we do not have a status of forces agreement with this government because there is no real central government.
Right.
If we had a status of forces agreement, our military, our intelligence agencies, and law enforcement, FBI, could be there. So without a status of forces agreement, they are there at their own peril. The Obama administration has really created a maelstrom here that resulted in this, and it's probably going to get worse.
Here's what I want to know, but we're going to take a break and carry over. Here's the question I want to know. When you see that video of those protesters climbing on the embassies of the United States of America, what can the United States or the governments do? Hold your thought. We'll get it right after this break.